So, always good, to go on the road and get a win. Certainly we needed to. That was a big one to get, getting into this 10-day turnaround, where we can try to get some of these guys a little bit healthier. Naturally when you play, 5 games back to back to back, it kind of starts to pile up on you a little bit. But, we weathered the storm. We're in a good spot, and we got an opportunity to get some guys back and get them back healthy. Coming out of the game, I think, obviously it's a good win anytime you go on the road and do that. I think the things that we've got to correct are just the things that are 100% in our control. The penalties on offense and defense are things that we got to get back to. Got to get back to playing with more discipline and eliminating those. On offense, 4 drops is just something we haven't done this year. We've been really consistent in the way we caught the football. So, we just got to get back to focusing in and getting back to the techniques and teaching, and correcting the things that aren't always there. And we got to get off of blocks a little bit better on the back end. On special teams, we can operate a whole lot cleaner than what we did. And we have all year. So, a lot of things there that I think for us need to get corrected this week. A lot of things there that are easily within our control. But, you're getting into a part of the year here where it kind of feels like it's been this way all year, but every game is absolutely critical. So, we got to get these things corrected this week, and we'll have time to do that. With 10 days, we can spread the work out a little bit. It'll be good for the staff. Staff and players were off yesterday, which was great. For them to be able to spend a day at home with their families because they've been away from it a whole lot. We'll get to spread this work out a little bit this week, and do a really good job putting a plan together for a very good Texas State team.
After looking at film, I thought they had a great play call on the option. They hadn't really run the option. So is it, are some of us making too big a deal about the run defense, or watching film, you're not as worried as maybe people who are making a big deal?
Well, I think, we always make a big deal out of it, right? Because, we you give up 200 yards rushing, that's just not where you want to be. Now, they've been doing it to pretty much everybody they've played, but that doesn't mean that it's okay. I think, it's twofold. All right. Now they had some really good schemes. Like they had a couple of things. I'm not getting too much details. I don't want people, keep doing it, but they had a couple of things that are difficult, for us. And they had some guys in positions where, they're not typically at. So, good for them. Right. I mean, that's good coaching. We didn't do a real good job getting off of blocks on the perimeter. And that's something that I think we've been like really good at. In the defensive backfield, like we've used our hands, we've shot, we've shocked and we've shed and got off of blocks, and we didn't do that. The option play, it's a good play call. We tried to string it out, they pitched it off, no one got off of a block. We had 3 guys that was just 1 for 1, and we were just like Velcro, just getting blocked. So get the ball on the ground. Don't give up a 50-yard touchdown. Give up a 20-yard run and say, oh, man, that was a good play call. Let's just get a stop now. We did have some missed tackles that, we had 80 yards off of missed tackles, which good back, you're going to miss a couple. Can't miss that many. And there was somewhere, it's just not good football. You got to vice the ball. You got to get on the ground. So there's a lot of things that we need to do better there. I thought up front, we played pretty well on the defensive line, to be honest with you. A lot of the stuff that we're talking about, we were gap sound. We just didn't fit it great on the back end at times, and that's an issue. You got to do that. You got to tackle better than we did on the back end. So, for us, it's I've said it before. I'd rather someone throw for 500 than run for 200. It's just what it is. But they did have some good stuff, and their running back was a really good player. But we expect more from our guys, especially in the back end, man. Like, stuff happens. You're going to play good teams, and they are a good team. You got to get the freaking ball on the ground and give yourself a chance to play a new set of downs. And there was too many times we didn't do a good job of that.
The week and a half is going to help, I assume, with Zylan. Is there anyone else in that maybe couldn't play Saturday but might be able to play Tuesday?
Not anyone that didn't play. Naturally, you go 5 weeks in a row. We had a bunch of guys that were playing through some stuff, man. Like we got some tough dudes on this team. So it's going to help a lot of them. And the message for them this week is that they need to be active in their recovery. This is not, you get a couple extra days. They're going to be, the choice you have to make when you're a head coach is, do you go back to like fall camp type practice where you go good on good and you bang it out and you go out there and you go get that type of work? or do you take the opportunity to try to get some guys healthy? And I think where we are right now at this point in the year, I think that's the plan for us here. And so we're giving them some time off to recover, and spreading the workout over more days, instead of adding extra practices. But our guys have to handle that well. Like, they need to be active in their recovery, and they need to attack it with the same urgency that they do having practice and things like that. So it will help, with Zylan. He's really sore and kind of bruised up, but we're I would say right now he's probable, with the way he is right now. So yeah, it's going to be a big deal. But I mean, they've got a bunch of guys that are playing through bumps and bruises. I mean, it's just that part of the year. So this is coming at a good time if we'll take advantage of it. I mean, if you don't, then you might as well just play Saturday to Saturday.
Since y'all get to look at it under a microscope, what is Ben doing right now that maybe he's doing better than maybe he wasn't doing at the start of the year or last year or the last couple of years? Is there anything you can really look at and say, this is an area that he's really, stepped up?
Well, I think last year he was a little hesitant in the pocket. He was a little antsy, which is probably natural from the nature of the injury he had from 22. This year he's just completely comfortable in the pocket. His recognition is elite right now with recognizing coverages. I mean, there was two of them last game that he, they'd have got me, to be quite honest with you. And he goes to the right side with the ball, makes good decisions. He's taking care of the football, but he's being really aggressive down the field too. And I think he's just playing the game at a really high level. I mean, he's always been a student of the game. He's taken advantage of his years in college football to bank a lot of reps. And, his study and his preparation habits are as good as I've ever been around. And he's just playing with a lot of confidence, but his footwork is really good in the pocket. I mean, the thing that you got to love about guys like him is, we came out of camp and, made the announcement it was going to be him and all that stuff. And I met with both of those guys, and he told me, okay, now I want you to coach me hard. And it's like, well, I've already been doing that, but I'll keep doing that, and it's like, he goes, everything, so, that's just the kind of player he is. And, he, every day he's got his notebook and he writes down everything that you say. So don't say something you don't mean, because he writes it all down. And, he's just operating at a really high level, and we've got good players around him that are making good plays. I think up front we've protected well for the most part. We had a couple of drop back scenarios that we didn't do a very good job, and we'll get that cleaned up. It's technique more than it is just ability, which is a good thing. But realistically, he's just been really comfortable in the pocket, and a lot of that is because we're protecting it well, and he's just progressing. He's just progressing through the reads. Just really efficiently.
How much, I know you talked after the game about Lance and maybe had some other things to try and give him the ball if you needed him. How much of a balance is it to say, hey, we want to try and find a way to get the ball to this player versus this is the play, these are the reads, just go through it and let Ben make the decision?
It's always about this is the play, these are the reads. Our job is to put people where they're maybe the primary, different guys are the primary on each read. So in my opinion, it's I know the NFL is like I didn't play there very long, right? But it's a man-to-man league, right? It's a matchup league. It's single coverage league. Like, that's what the NFL is. We have some that are like that, but for the most part, it's progression. And, our job as a staff is to make sure that on different plays, different players need to be the primary, and then the secondary, and then the third read, or whatever the case may be. So that's kind of what we try to do, where he doesn't need to worry about, I don't want him worried about this matchup on this play, because I think that's when things get out of whack. You quit taking the things that are there. You quit playing efficiently. You quit going where the ball needs to go, and you start forcing things. So that's more on us, in my opinion, to make sure that we have guys that are primary, secondary, different guys that way. And I think our staff's done a good job of that. You got a bunch of different guys getting touches. The first touchdown Lance scored, he's a third option. So he's a third option, and he gets there and makes a play and goes score a touchdown. They cut him completely loose. So it's good by the quarterback. He goes through the progression. Great by Lance. He's right where he's supposed to be. Quarterback gets on the ball and he finishes. So that's on us to try to figure out a little bit of that, I think, more than it is a quarterback.
And on the same token, with Texas State now, they got a few big-time playmakers that have been there for a while. how much do y'all manage trying to take those guys away versus kind of the same idea, right? This is what we're doing schematically to stop the entire offense.
Yeah, well, it has to start with trying to stop what they do best. I think that's every week what you try to do on defense, right? Is take away what they do best. So we're really not into Texas State right now. You know, like yesterday gave everybody off. Today we're kind of scratching the surface a little bit. Tomorrow will be a big game plan day for us as a staff. But yeah, it starts with you try to take away what they do really well. And then if you can get some tendencies where it's like, well, this guy does this in this situation, this formation, whatever it is, that's what you always try to do on defense. So, you know, it's really about playing good defense. You know, it's against these guys, it's going to be making sure you can't cut anybody loose. I mean, they've got explosive players. I mean, from running backs to receivers to the quarterback, that they got a lot of guys that'll hurt you. You know, so it's you got to try to take away what they do best, but you got to play sound football. You know, you're going to have some guys in man coverage against good players, and you got to cover. You have guys in one-on-ones against good players, you got to play. So it's just, you know, it's always kind of a chess match between how much do you want to really scheme what they're doing and how much do you say, look, we got to do what we do too.
So I know it's just one play, but have you or anyone on the staff like watched the play, the 59-yarder over and over? Like how many times have you seen it?
You know, 4 or 5 times as many times I've watched it, you know, so yeah.
So you don't have any new opinions about one or the other that they did different than what you had after the game Saturday?
You're talking about the touchdown? No, it was a hell of a play by 2 damn good football players. I mean, you know, we'd run that play 3 times that game, you know, and it was a situation where I didn't want to drop back again. I didn't want to risk potentially a fumble, you know, risk of, you know, a tragic play on offense. So we went to somewhat of a quick game kind of deal. And, you know, they had a good call on. They had it matched pretty good. We protected it really well. Ben does a good job buying time. And, you know, Terrence just kept playing. I mean, he was a corner out on the other side of the field that, you know, he ended up getting over the top of it. And when Ben started to break, he just broke to the other side, and Ben makes a heck of a throw, and he goes attack the ball. So, no, it was not a great play call. It was a great play by 2 really good players. It would be hard to argue that it wasn't. Yeah, it was. You know, as a coach, it's those things are always like it's like catch-22. You want to design something where the first or second guy is open, maybe third guy. You feel responsible when you don't get someone open. But, boy, you are so happy, you know, when guys make plays like that. And, you know, I don't know that, and this is not taking anything away from anybody, you know, I mean, we just haven't, the first 2 years, it just wasn't a whole lot of that, you know, like just 2 guys taking a game over, and that was what happened. And it was, you know, right when you needed it, you know, I mean, I told him in the huddle, you know, I said, look, you know, if we got to punt it, we're going to get a stop on defense, we'll be fine. But let's try to get this thing, you know, let's make a good decision with the ball, even if it's short of the sticks. We're going to try to run for it. You know, Lance did it earlier in the game, had a great play on a really good throw and catch. And this time it happened to be Terrence and Ben. So it was, it was a huge play by 2 players that have played at a really high level for us.
I know that Texas, you're not, like you said, totally into the game plan of Texas State, but from a what I call intangible standpoint, do you think your players realize how bad they want to win this game?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, last year the game here was a hell of a football game. I mean, it was probably one of the first ones that we've come from behind and won, you know, in the last 3 or 4 years. But our guys did a great job, made some big plays in the second half of the game, found a way to win. So for them, you know, we know there's that. Certainly, you know, after having lost last week, there's going to be that on top of it, which it seems like we're catching everybody after a loss, which is not always usually it's really not a good thing. You know, and for them, you know, being at home on a Tuesday night, you know, we know that, this is a huge game for them, but it's just as big of a game for us, you know. So we'll get their best, they'll get our best, and it's going to be a hell of a football game.